Namaste, Dandava Pranam. By the grace and instruction of Bhagavatam, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 1 Creation, Chapter 15, Text 17. Sauchevrata Kutimin Atmada Ishvaro Me Yadpada Padmam Abhavaya Bhajanti Bhavaya Mam Shrantavaham Arayo Ratino Bhuvistam Na Praharanyadanubhava Nirastachita. It was by his mercy only that my enemies neglected to kill me when I descended from my chariot to get water for my thirsty horses, and it was due to my lack of esteem for my Lord that I dared engage him as my chariot driver, for he is worshipped and offered services by the best men to attain salvation. Purport: the Supreme Lord, Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is the object of worship both by impersonalists and by the devotees of the Lord. The impersonalists worship his glowing effulgence emanating from his transcendental body of eternal form, bliss, and knowledge, and the devotees worship him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those who are even below the impersonalists consider him to be one of the great historical personalities. The Lord, however, descends to attract all by his specific transcendental pastimes, and thus he plays the part of the most perfect master, friend, son, and lover. His transcendental relation with Arjuna was in friendship, and the Lord therefore played the part perfectly, as he did with his parents, lovers, and wives. While playing in such a perfect transcendental relation, the devotee forgets, by the internal potency of the Lord, that his friend or son is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although sometimes the devotee is bewildered by the acts of the Lord. After the departure of the Lord, Arjuna was conscious of his great friend, but there was no mistake on the part of Arjuna, nor any ill estimation of the Lord. Intelligent men are attracted by the transcendental acting of the Lord with a pure, unalloyed devotee like Arjuna. In the war field, scarcity of water is a well-known fact. Water is a very rare there, and both animals and men working strenuously on the warfield constantly require water to quench their thirst. Especially wounded soldiers and generals feel very thirsty at the time of death, and it sometimes so happens that simply for want of water one has to die unavoidably. But such scarcity of water was solved in the battle of Kurukshetra by means of boring the ground. By God's grace, water can be easily obtained from any place if there is facility for boring the ground. The modern system works on the same principle of boring the ground, but modern engineers are still unable to dig immediately wherever necessary. It appears, however, from the history as far back as the days of the Pandavas, that big generals like Arjuna could at once supply water even to the horses, and what to speak of men, by drawing water from underneath the hard ground simply by penetrating the stratum with a sharp arrow, a method still unknown to the modern scientists. Text 18. Narmanyudhara ruchira smita sobitani he parte herjuna shake kuru nandaneti sanjalpitani naradeva hridisprashani smartur lutanti hridayam mama madhasvasya. O king, his jokings and frank talks were pleasing and beautifully decorated with smiles. His addresses unto me as O son of Pritha, O friend, O son of the Kuru dynasty, and all such heartiness are now remembered by me, and thus I am overwhelmed. Text 19. Sayasana tanha vikatana bodhandishiv aikyad vasyasya ritavan iti vipralabhad Shakshu Shakeva Pitravat Tanhayasya Sarvam Sehe Mahan Mahitaya Kumater Aghame. Generally, both of us used to live together and sleep, sit, loiter together. and at the time of advertising oneself for acts of chivalry, sometimes if there was any irregularity, I used to reproach him by saying, "My friend, you are very truthful." Even in those hours when his value is minimized, he, being the Supreme Soul, used to tolerate all the utterings of mine, excusing me exactly as a true friend excuses his true friend, or a father excuses his son. Purport. Since the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna is all perfect, his transcendental pastimes with his pure devotees never lack anything in any respect, either as a friend, son, or lover. The Lord relishes the reproaches of friends, parents, or fiancés more than the Vedic hymns offered to him by great learned scholars and religionists in an official fashion. The point in this verse is how it was possible that Arjuna could be defeated by a gang of It is said that once the fair denizens of heaven pleased Astavakra Muni by their service, and were blessed by the Muni to have the Supreme Lord as their husband. Astavakra Muni was curved in 8 joints. Even after being robbed by the rogues. So, in order to keep the words of the great Muni, the Lord himself kidnapped his wives from the protection of Arjuna. Otherwise, they would have at once vanished from the scene as soon as they were touched by the rogues. Besides, Sarato hayaste, sohamrati nrpatayo yata anamanti, sarvam kshanena tad abud asad isharitam, basmanhutam kuhakaradam ivoptam usham. I have the very same Gandiva bow, the same arrow. Borrowed plumes. All energies and powers are derived from the scripture source. All energies and powers are derived from the supreme source, Lord Krishna, and they act as long as he desires and cease to function as soon as he withdraws. All electrical as long as the parents allow the child to play, it is all right. As soon as the parents withdraw, the child has to stop. Human civilization and all activities thereof must be dovetailed with the supreme blessing of the Lord, and without this blessing all advancement of human civilization is like decoration on a dead body. It is said here that a dead civilization and its activities are something like clarified butter on ashes, the accumulation of money by a magic wand, and the sowing of seeds in a barren land. Texts 22 through 23. Rajamstvayanu prishtanam suridamnaha made of putrefied rice, and fought amongst themselves with sticks, not even recognizing one another. Now all but 4 or 5 of them are dead and gone. Text 24. Prayenai they do not know that behind the law of nature is the supreme direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed that the law of nature is executed under the direction of the Lord. Whenever, therefore, there is peace in the world, it must be known that it is due to the goodwill of Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda. Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa assembled devotees, all glories to the worldwide devotees, Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to Navadvip Dham, Mayapur Dham, Nishangapali Dham, Ekachakra Dham Ki Jai. All glories to Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Ju Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Giri Govardhan Gupta Govardhan Dham Ki Jai. Sham Kun Radha Kun Ki Jai.